Hello everybody, it's Jeff for Arizona Camera Reviews, and today we're going to be talking about the Feelworld A737. It's a nicely constructed monitor. It's made out of aluminum, not plastic, which is great. You can power it with a Sony battery. It comes standard with the Sony battery holder, but you can also put on a Canon and a couple of other battery holders. The monitor also comes with a really nice monitor hood, which mounts on the monitor really easily. Something I wanted to show you about this is actually the monitor frame, okay? And this is the hood, and it's non-reflective. It's great, and it attaches with really, really solid Velcro, so it won't be blowing off in the wind. Now, to put it on the monitor, there's two holes at the top, and then there's one indent on each side. So what you do is you line up the two on the top, and then you click in the ones on each side, and you're good to go. So let's talk about some of the inputs for this monitor. Over here on this side, you've got a USB upgrade, which basically will allow you to upgrade the firmware in this monitor. You've got an OSD controller, which will allow you to remotely operate the menus and the selections on the menus. You've got a headphone output. You've got an AV input, which will allow you to put in standard definition inputs, utilizing like an RCA video in and your RCA left and right audio. Then you've got your HDMI cable, which, by the way, they give you this neat little apparatus which will allow you to lock your HDMI cable in so it doesn't accidentally get pulled out. And last but not least, you have an input here for your 12 volts DC. So that's enough about inputs and enough about the exterior of the monitor. Now let's talk about the operation and the menus that are inside the monitor. Before I start this instructional video on how to go through your menus, I just want to make you aware that there are a few menu items that aren't accessible, and they are in blue. They are aspect ratio, zoom all, UD zoom, LR zoom, P2P stands for pixel to pixel, zoom, and 9 grid. This video is about the Feelworld 4K A737 monitor. The first thing I would like to show you is how to bring your volume up and down. That can be achieved by using the left and right arrows. If you want to bring the volume up, you press the right button. If you want to bring it down, you press the left button. Next, I'm going to show you how to work through the menus. To do this, you press the menu button, and you will have a menu that comes up. Now, when you press the F1 or down button, it will bring you to the first area on this menu. In that area, you have a few different choices. By using your left and right button, you can go from dynamic to standard to mild and to user mode. If you go into the user mode, you can use your down arrow to go to brightness, contrast, saturation, sharpness, and color temperature. So if we bring this back up to here, we can adjust our brightness by using the left or the right control, which will make the screen brighter, or the left control, which will make it darker. Now we're going to go back up into the picture mode, and we're going to go back to dynamic, which is what I like to use. So we're back in the dynamic mode. You'll notice that when you're in the dynamic mode, the brighten, contrast, saturation, and sharpness are blued out. That means you cannot make any changes. Now let's go down to the next section. You've got color temperature. I have my monitor and my camera set up for 6,500 degrees Kelvin so that they match. So if we go over and we change this using our right, it will go to 93 Kelvin. There's only 2 user presets. If you go into the user mode, again, you can adjust your red, green, and if you go to your next menu setting, which is the sub part of this menu, you've got blue and tint. I'm not going to play with those right now, but you can play with them on your own and adjust your own color balance. So let's go back and let's set the color temperature again back to a preset of 6,500. So now we're going to go from dynamic mode to the settings mode. But to do this, we're going to hit the menu button quickly, which returns the cursor up to the top bar. And now what we're going to do is we're going to move over one, and you'll notice there are 2 areas that are blued out, one of which is aspect ratio and the other one is zoom all. These 2 are not accessible when using 4K and sometimes not accessible when doing 1080i. So the first thing on this menu is language. So we're going to go down to language, and you'll notice by using the right and left key that you can advance to the different languages. Now we're going to skip down one because aspect ratio is blued out, and we're going to the no signal area. This happens when you don't have any signal coming to the monitor. You can adjust the color you want your monitor to be. So you can have blue, you can have red, you can have green, you can have black, you can have white, or back to blue screen. Now we're going to go to the transparency of this box. Off looks like this. That's low, middle, and that's the highest transparency. And off is fully opaque. The next area is the position of this box. By adjusting this left, you can adjust the position of the box. And for our purposes, I'm keeping it in the upper right-hand corner. If you scroll down one more, you can move the vertical position by going this way or this way. Now let's go to camera mode. Camera mode off. This will display 480p. It takes a couple of seconds for it to sync up. This will go to 1080i. And now we'll return to the off position, and it should be back to its original off position. Now let's move to the next sub-menu of this. We're going to skip zoom all because I've already explained that that doesn't work when using 4K. In this one, you have OSD time, which is how long this box will stay up. If it's in the off position, it'll stay on the whole time. If you go to 10 seconds, it'll go off in 10 seconds, 20 seconds, and 30 seconds. I'm keeping it in off. Also, you'll notice that there's two areas on here that are blue, UD zoom and LR zoom. Those are also disabled in this mode. Backlight. That's actually how bright the backlight is on this monitor. By adjusting the left and right, you can adjust the brightness of the monitor. Since I have my camera in auto, it's compensating. Power on, auto, that will allow the monitor to come up once it sees a signal. You can also put it in manual and back to auto. USB upgrade. By clicking on this, you can upgrade the firmware for this monitor. Reset. By pushing the button to the right, you will automatically reset the monitor to its factory settings. Okay, let's go to the next menu now. We're going to press the menu button and now go to the next one. Now we're into some of the mechanics of the monitor. We're going to come down one, and we can turn the center marker on and off. That's right here. Okay, let's turn that off. Safe frames. This one is 2.35 to 1, and that's off. Now let's go to image freeze. We're not going to do that right now, but basically what it does is it will freeze a moving image so you can take a better look at it. Okay, now let's go down to image flip. So let's scroll down, and that's in the off position. That's a horizontal vertical flip. That's a horizontal flip. That's a vertical flip. And that's back to normal. Now let's go to check field. That's in monochrome. That's in red. That's green. That's blue. And we're back to off. Now you'll notice P2P, which is pixel to pixel, does not operate in the 4K mode. So when we push our down arrow, it will skip over P2P. This can work in 1080i and standard definition. Histogram. This is your histogram of the image you're seeing. That's turned off. False colors. Okay, let's work to the main menu now. Anamorphic. That's 1 by 3. 2. 2 with magnification. And back to normal. Now you'll notice up above anamorphic, there's an area called zoom on this menu. That's also blued out. That is not accessible when in 4K mode. Let's go to focus assist. That's on. Now you can change your peaking colors when you have your focus assist on. By scrolling down, you can change the color. There's green, there's blue, and there's red. 3 different colors. You can go down to your overexposure. That's overexposure off, and that's overexposure on. That will show you what your peaking level is. IRE. I have mine set at 90. Some people may like it set lower. Some people might like it set higher. This is how you adjust that. Let's go to embedded audio now, which I think is an absolutely fantastic feature. If you have a camera that doesn't have a headphone output, you can monitor the audio by flipping this, and now you can see the embedded audio displayed on the left-hand side of the monitor. Let's leave that on for the rest of this demonstration. And let's go back up to our focus assist. At the bottom of this menu, you'll notice there's another blued out area which says 9 grid. That is only accessible when used in 1080i and standard definition modes. So it will be skipped over. Now you've got your markers. 4.3, 13 by 9, 14:9, 15:9, 16:9, 1.85 to 1, 2.35 to 1, and off. You've also got your marker color. Red, green, blue, black, white, and back to red. Now you have your marker width. That can be adjusted, as always, with your left to right buttons. And modified mark. Okay, let's go back up. Now let's go up to our last menu, which is to assign your F keys here on the bottom of the monitor. So we're going to push our menu button, and we're going to go over one more, and that's our assists, or our F keys. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down, and let's say we want to adjust F1 to be the histogram instead of F3. So what we would do is we would push this over, and then we would scroll up and down to the mode that we want. So let's say we want to do histogram in 1. Okay, so then what we do is we hit our menu button, and histogram is now in the number 1 slot. That can be done for all the rest of these. That will conclude the basic operation of this monitor. In conclusion, I think it's a really, really well-constructed monitor. The picture is nice and crisp, and it gives a good representation of what my A6300 is looking at. Things that I don't like is the time that it takes for it to come on. And the fact that when you turn it off, this red light stays on, which can run your battery down. Hopefully they'll fix that. The other thing that I wish this monitor had was an SDI in and out. I think this monitor would be fantastic if you had SDI ins and outs on this monitor. The other thing I would like to see is, on the bottom, you only have one screw hole, and you can only mount it by this quarter 20 hole that's on the bottom. I would have liked to have seen a quarter 20 hole on the top and then one on the opposing side so that you could mount the monitor either from the side or from the top. So that about wraps it up for this A737 Feelworld 4K monitor. Like I said, I think it's a good solid monitor for an entry-level person or for the midline pro. Please continue to watch our videos. Please share them. Please like them. And last but not least, please subscribe. Until next time, this is Jeff for AZCAMERA saying bye-bye.